All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking about one, two, three things. Three very, very important things. One, I had the opportunity yesterday to run office hours. Some of you guys are not customers. You don't know what office hours is. Office hours is why Art Storefronts is awesome, because after you sign up, then you become a customer. We have 9 weekly Zoom sessions each week. I usually just teach one of them a week. Members of my team teach the rest. And what we do is you can come in, you can ask questions. We teach various different things. You can get your questions answered. You feel like you're not alone in your journey, and it's awesome. And why it's awesome for me is because instead of me working in a vacuum with what I believe are the biggest problems that you guys have and that you're suffering with, I instead get to hear directly from you what the problems are, right? And what you're struggling with most. And then, sort of tweak my messaging to address that. So one of the interesting things that came up yesterday, and I forgot that I didn't get my phone on the screen, is, you know, this notion of where do I post and when do I post, and specifically as that applies to Instagram, right? And I've said multiple times here and other places that, and hold on, I'm getting my phone up on the screen so I can screen share for you guys. In a perfect world, you would be posting on all 3 social networks, because Instagram is 3 social networks in one. There's the feed, there are stories, and there are reels. In a perfect world, you guys would all be posting on all 3 every single solitary day. Problem is, I'm not naive. It's not even a problem. I'm not naive, though. I know most of you guys are not doing that because it is a pain in the what. It is hard. It takes a ton of consistency. My thumb is not working. I'm going to deal with that in a second. So the question comes up is like, you're short on time. Okay. You don't have all the bandwidth in the world. What should be your kind of like checklist, right? If you can only get one thing done, you get one thing done, right? It's like, hey, I know you should be running 25 sets of stairs every single solitary day if you want to have, be really fit. But guess what? If you're short on time and you can only run 10, then go run the 10, right? And that applies to our social media. Like every single solitary day, we don't have the time to do every single solitary thing. I'm not naive. I get that. So what is sort of the check down? What is the priority list? What is the, look, man, I don't have time to get all of that done today. I only have time to get one thing today done today. What should it be, right? And before, it was just make a reel. Just make a reel on Instagram, because that's going to give you the greatest opportunity for this individual piece of content to be seen by people that don't follow you. What is every one of yours biggest struggles? Getting your art, getting your photography, getting your creations in front of people that do not know you, right? So that's what the answer would have been a little while ago, by which I mean the last, call it 3 months back to, a year and a half. Things have changed. And this is this notion of where, nothing is ever in a set of stasis, especially in social media. One day the goalposts are over here, then they're over here, then they're up there, then they're down here. Like the goalposts are constantly moving. The good news is that posts now have more juice than reels. And in my estimation, what's taken place, especially on Instagram, or on Instagram, I should say, not especially, so many people went so all in on reels that Instagram got to a position where it's like, we're good. We have more reels than what we know what to do with. It was super hot for a while. The demand was insatiable for these things. Everyone was checking them out. Everyone was loving them. And then we hit a wall. And the wall was, okay, I'm good. I don't just want to watch reels. These things are annoying me. I've seen enough, right? So what's interesting is now the pendulum has swung back to posts being just as important as reels. And I would even go as far to say, at this moment in time, like, February 16th at 9:30 a.m. PST time, posts are slightly more important now than reels. And again, this is just one of those scenarios where the goalposts have moved. They're going to move again. And so the advice is very much not timeless. This is just a short-term arbitrage. But if you only have time to create one piece of content for Instagram today, it should be a post and not a reel. Now, this is really good news for most people, because making the reels is way harder than making a post on balance, right? Now, Individual posts with individual photos are the least strong. Okay. Next up would be an individual video is usually stronger than an individual image. But I think the carousels carry the most weight, usually get the most action. So I think you guys should all be thinking about how you can do carousels. Carousels can be a hybrid combination of photos and videos, and sort of any combination. It could be all photos, it could be all videos. They can have text on them, they can have captions, not captions. So there's a ton of room for creativity in there, and they're going to get you a little bit more action right now if you give those to Instagram than would Reels. And that's just the truth. Now, again, I still prefer that all of you guys are posting in all three of the social networks. What are they again? The feed, the stories, the Reels. Okay. But again, I'm not naive. When things are just busy and you're just like, I don't have any damn time. I'm short on time. Just give me. What can I post high level? Just do a post right now. You'll get a little extra juice. And again, that's like really, it's good news because they're easier to make. They're just easier to make than Reels, like within reason. So very, very good news there. Okay. That is the first thing that I wanted to talk about. So the goalposts have moved. Posts are now more important than Reels. I might be saying something different in 3 months, but there you go. That is the latest up-to-date information, intel on how you can dominate Instagram and make it work for you, i.e. show your work to people that don't know you, that have never seen you before, right? So it's all brand new. That's number one. Number two, anybody that's been watching me rant on any of the live streaming on any of the platforms we're talking a bunch recently is this notion of the smart artist, the smart photographer knows they need to advertise. And then they also know that advertising on Facebook and Instagram is a huge waste of money, i.e. no artist or photographer I know of has managed to be able to do it successfully for any period of time. Like in my 10 years of doing this, I've never seen an artist or a photographer advertise on Facebook or Instagram for a period longer than like a couple of months. And I should quantify this as that this is to cold traffic, to people that do not know you. If you're advertising to people that do know you, different story, right? Different story. I'll stop for a second because a bunch of you guys are asking me about hashtags. Hashtags are nowhere near as important as they used to be. And the reason that they're nowhere near as important as they used to be is that Instagram doesn't need you to tell it what your content is about. The algorithm is so good that the algorithm already knows. It already knows. The algorithm looks at your content. It doesn't matter whether it's a photo or a video, and it knows exactly what it is. And the hashtags were really just you giving indications to Instagram and saying, hey, Instagram, I know you are like this giant cable subscription with 3 million channels on it. I am going to tell you via this hashtag where I think my programming, which cable channel my programming should go on. Well, now they just don't need it. They just don't need it. They already know. Now, I'm not saying don't use hashtags. You can throw in a couple, but if you're in a rush and you just need to get something posted, you don't need a damn hashtag anymore. You just don't. Okay. It doesn't carry the weight that it used to. And how many artists, how many photographers do I see that like stress on hashtags and worry so much about the hashtags? And it's like, stop doing that nonsense. It's better. You're better off spending that time creating a second piece of content and getting that up than researching what you think are the best hashtags. And you know what the dirty little secret about hashtags are? I could say whatever I want about hashtags because no one can tell you from a measurement, from an empirical standpoint about whether they work or they don't. And that's the hilarious thing because no one can tell you. You don't know. No one knows if that hashtag worked or it didn't work, right? So that's sort of a beautiful thing. The only way that you might know is if somebody purchased your art and then you asked them, hey, how'd you find me? And they were like, oh yeah, I was writing hashtags on Instagram and you were in there and that's how I discovered you. It's never going to happen. Your buyer's never going to remember whether or not they did that. So don't overthink. Do not over stress on hashtags. You just don't need to do it. Okay. That's number one. Where was I going? I had two other things to address. Number one. So I get this a lot, and I get it particularly on office hours, right? And it's like what my customers are attempting to do is we all think, like, we've all been sold this dream that passive income is a thing, right? And you just put this stuff up on your website and you do a little marketing and someone magically comes. This is usually the story is told just like this, right? You guys, you're not going to believe this. I woke up this morning to 2 emails, and in the middle of the night, I got 2 orders. I got 2 brand new orders. This is incredible, right? It's happening when I sleep. And don't get me wrong, that's awesome. That does happen. But everybody thinks that that's what should happen every single solitary time. And they think that in sharp contrast to actually talking to people on the phone, talking to people via FaceTime, talking to people via Messenger, talking to people via Zoom. What's the one on iPhone? FaceTime? I can't remember. Anyway, talk to your customers, you guys. The best use of an artist or a photographer's time is actually attempting to talk to a customer. And, it's very easy in art, love, music, nature. I see reaching strangers. I'll talk to you about that in a second. It's very easy, okay, to be working in a vacuum where you're not talking to your followers, you're not talking to your potential buyers, and you're not talking to your customers. And when you do that without that feedback, you end up making decisions that you think are right, but your customers don't think are right, that your customers wouldn't tell you to do, right? So it's really, really important to understand that. And let me give you like a for instance. We send email, a lot of email. A lot of you on our email list, you are saying to yourselves, for the love of God, why do these people email so much? Well, when you email that much, you end up getting a ton of replies, right? Do you know who sometimes goes through the replies one by one? Me. We get hundreds a day. And do you know what I do? I look at all of them and I reply to all of them myself, not someone down level on my team, me, the guy who's running the marketing department. And the reason is that I want to be as close as possible to the people that are about to sign up for art storefronts so I can understand what their objections are, what they think about what we do. Are they confused about something? Do they not understand how things work? Are they upset that we don't publish pricing on our website? I'm aware that we don't publish pricing on our website. I know people are pissed off about that. I don't want to get into that right now. But the point is, don't hide, okay, behind your website and behind your social media site, and don't not be willing to get on the phone, get on a Zoom, okay, get into a one-on-one physical conversation with your potential buyers and answer their questions. It's huge. It's tremendous. Okay. It is a massive, massive thing. And I've been doing a ton of it recently, and I continue to be blown away with the learnings that I get when I do that. And so I really want to encourage you guys, like, look, if somebody is asking you about your art on Instagram and is sending you some DMs, leaving you a comment on Facebook, right? Let them know, like, hey, if you want to talk about the art, I could show off a couple of pieces. We could jump into a Zoom or Messenger video chat or whatever you like, just let me know. I'm around, right? And then shut up and see what happens. Like, don't just by default send them to the website, right? And, a lot of my customers will be like, hey, I had an older buyer and they were struggling with one thing on my website. Can you help me fix it? I'm like, no, I'm not going to help you fix it. Get that old person on the damn phone and do the order for them yourself. They don't even want to use a website, right? So understand your priority is to get the piece sold, to get the order over the line. And the best way to do that, hold on for a second. Stop banging on my door. Why my children are out of school on a Friday is just a whole other issue. I'm not happy about it. Final point. Okay. Final point of my Friday morning rant here. And I've got some receipts here. One of the things I've been talking a bunch about is smart artists, smart photographers don't advertise. They do this instead. And it's this notion of a print giveaway, right? And when you do this, I'm going to be talking about this more. I'm going to release a podcast episode on it soon. You need to do hand-to-hand combat, okay? And hand-to-hand combat, okay, in this instance it's what I call, it's incumbent upon every smart artist, smart photographer to learn, to train, to get better at turning buying questions into selling conversations. To turn buying questions into selling conversations. And I was talking about this on office hours yesterday, okay, with the customer, and she sent me a screenshot, which had me laughing. So I'm going to share that with you as soon as I can get my damn phone up. Hold on. Just you guys, you think it's just you. My technology, every time I try to use it, fails miserably. It's always a big disaster, never works, constantly having to reset things. All right, it finally worked. So what I want to show you first is if you've never heard of this concept, okay, every single solitary one of you needs to understand this concept because almost none of you are doing it consistently. And what ends up happening, and don't default to the digital persuasion, okay? This happens in the real world all the time. And it's when you guys get comments along the line of, you are so talented. Your work is amazing. Oh my gosh, you should start a business. That piece is incredible. That piece reminds me of such and such, where I grew up, or this incredible vacation I had. What all of those represent, and regardless of where they come, in a one-on-one conversation, okay, from an acquaintance, on a social media comment, on a Facebook comment, a letter sent to your house, any of the above, okay? What those represent, what they are called, is they are called buying questions, okay? Your job is to turn these things into selling conversations. And I have this up on the screen, so I'll just show you, then I'll dump the screen share. Number 57, okay? And this is on the Art Marketing Podcast. It's everywhere. It's on Apple Podcast. It's on Spotify. And I go into depth, like 30-minute rant on this. But I'm going to show you some screen shares. Where is it? Did I already lose it? What's the number one? Turn buying questions into selling conversations. Okay, number 57. So why I'm sharing this, why I'm making such a big deal out of this, is not enough of you are doing this. Okay. And so a customer was asking me about it yesterday, and I might as well show it because I just think this is so funny. I didn't ask her whether or not I could show this. I think she'll be cool with it. What does this say? Slides extra. How do I get the doggone asset in here? I'll figure out a way to get this. Come on. That's going to make me upload a file. Let's see if this works. Come on. I downloaded this early today. Sorry, guys. If I was a little bit more on my game, this would be ready to go and I would show you. And now I'm really struggling to get it up here. What can I do? Can I share my screen? I think I might just have to be able to share my screen. So what happens is that she gets, and Saskia is her name, and she sent this to me, and shout out to her if she's watching. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to download this one more time. I really want you guys to see it because I think it's hilarious. She gets a comment from a crypto person, right? And I explained to her yesterday, like, hey, when you get this type of attention on social media, your job, okay, is to follow up immediately and ask them if they want to buy the work, right? Because you don't know. You don't know if this person's just being nice and complimenting you just because they're going to compliment you, or is this person like seriously, genuinely interested in your work and might be ready to purchase it right now and just needs a conversation to start. And I apologize, you guys, normally I'm more on my tech game, but like this whole streaming to Instagram via the computer is like literally brand new. So no one has it all figured out. There are tech glitches. How am I going to get this damn thing up on the screen? This is really upsetting me now. It's always something. I don't know if there's an easy way to do it. Maybe I could do. I will not be defeated. I will figure this out. Just give me a second. I know what to do. Okay, I think I've got it. One of the things that I think is really important is like this notion of show, don't tell. It's like one thing for me to like professorially be, hey guys, here's how you do this. Go here to go there, do that. Or it's like, no, here's actually how you do it. Look at this. I just did it. All right, I think I've got a way to do it. Here we go. I appreciate all of you guys bearing with me. Present, share screen, present, share screen, window. Ha! Figured it out. All right. So this is a really funny example, but this is what it would look like in real life, right? Now, Saskia, who's a customer, and I love her for this, is trolling this idiot named Lewis, who is one of these typical Facebook scam commenters, right? So this whole thing is just funny and it's a joke, and you kind of just have to not take it seriously for a second. But what's happened here is that he leaves a comment on one of her posts, right? And so many people losing money off the bearish markets, but still a big bear market. He's talking about crypto nonsense, and she's practicing, and she's like, "Hey, Lewis Dean, who's clearly a troll and a bot, it sounds like you might need some Zen. Hop on over to saskiavon.com and get a beautiful piece for your wall, right?" And she sent that to me, and I was totally laughing because she gets the joke, right? Like that was a troll commenter, and you might as well make fun of him. But every one of you guys, oh, you are on, Saskia. You're laughing. She's on here. She's doing the thumbs up. I saw this morning and I was laughing because you were trolling a troll, which is just a great thing to do all the time because it makes you feel good. Those bastards are all over us all day long and they deserve a little bit back. I constantly get reviews on our Facebook page like, this person was so great for my Forex trading account, or like they helped me survive my blood dialysis. Anyway, Facebook needs to clean their act up. I'm sorry. But the point of it is, you guys, you get these things all day long. every single solitary time you post, people are asking buying questions. Anytime you do any sort of promotion, people are asking buying questions, and your job is to turn them into selling conversations. So if you've not listened to that podcast episode, I need you to. It's very, very good. There's a link to the podcast in the bio on Instagram if you want to find it that way. And all of you guys, start responding to the buying question. Start exercising this muscle. Start getting comfortable doing it on the social media platforms, and then you'll be comfortable doing it in real life. And then you get really, really good at it, and you learn to shut up. Oh, thanks so much for that compliment. Just to let you know, the piece is for sale. Which one are you interested in? And when you shut up, you wait for them to respond, and then you find out, are they really into the work, or are they just being nice? And that's an important thing to find out. But I got to go and get my kids. Thanks for sitting with me on the live. I'm going to be doing more lives later today. I might even audit some Instagram accounts. Hope to see all of you guys then. Till then, adios.